Hi everybody. It's good to see you on this full moon exact tomorrow at 7:57 a.m. So I'm going to post this in various places, so if you want to work with it again you could at the exact time of the full moon, but we are in that strong pulse right now where we're really building up energy. Always right before, it's very, very extra strong. And so usually we do them just before if we can catch it like that. And so we are. So welcome. And you might be feeling this big energy that's happening, which is, just astrologically speaking, Mercury just went direct on Monday. So you're not probably even feeling it yet because it does what's called a wobble. And it can take quite a while actually for it to actually get back in the rhythm of its own forward motion. So right now it's in that wobble, but you also might feel a little bit of like, oh, like that push is over. It was in Libra, the whole thing pretty much stayed in Libra, I think the whole time. And so what that Mercury energy would have been about is, in Libra, is relationships, right? Strengthening relationships, your own relationship with yourself, our relationships with others. And so it's been very powerful. And whenever Mercury goes in retrograde, we get to review topics. And so what came up for review for you, I wonder? And on this full moon particularly, Mars is conjunct the moon. And so that makes it very, very potent and forward moving. I just saw Soul walk by. That was so sweet. Soul is Jules' cat. Anyway, so one of the questions I wanted to present to bring into the meditation tonight, because things are so intense right now. And we're in that polarity between Libra, Aries, right? And it's an Aries full moon, which has got it like a rocket, right? It goes forward, strong and fast and hard. But it's also a Libra time, so it's about balance. So how do you keep your balance when you're jetting forward at a high rocket fuel pace? And because Mercury is retrograde, it feels like a stutter before the movement. And so the thought I had is, I want you to bring into your meditation a little bit tonight is, what is ready to move forward in your life? And I want you to just think about that, like as I'm talking, and just sense, wonder what that is for you, that is ready to move forward mindfully into this, what's our next step? And you know how I teach all the time about conscious versus unconscious. So a conscious next step is really very different than an unconscious next step. And when we make a movement on purpose, with intention basically, we start to align and galvanize ourselves with all that is, and we become like an arrow in a bow and arrow, right? And we can loose ourselves forward and get a lot of momentum with an energy like this. So where are you with that? And what is happening and how are you? I mean, I wish I could ask all of you, because it has been very intense these last months, really, and this month even more so as we come into the fall. And the fall time of the year is when things ground and when things land that we made at the beginning of the year. The intentions that we had at the solstice, the intentions that we had in spring. By fall, these things are coming on the ground and landing all kinds of ways, and you can kind of see what you've been making. So from that point of view, what have you been making? As you look around your world, what are you noticing is kind of a reoccurring theme as what is up for you right now? What's the subject, of the fall for you? What is the subject of the manifestation period? What is everywhere you look? Do you understand what I'm saying? And so that's like a question, that's an internal question. It's not something that's quite as literal, although it can be very literal. But there's the theme of growth, that is happening for each of us in different subjects, though. And so, if you could support yourself somehow, how would you? Like, what would support you? And so, as we're moving through the meditation, I'm going to propose those concepts into it and place them into it. And I want you to really listen in that discerning way where you're listening behind, you're listening through, and kind of hearing your own wisdom about what's happening for you right now. What's up for you? What's coming up for change? What's coming up for your attention? And this goes back to the very first thing, what's getting ready to move forward? What is it? And you can sense it, and you can say, oh, you might have 3 things in your mind that you're really working on, and you know exactly what it is. But it might not be those things, and it might be. But when we're in the meditation, I want you to play with that and just sense what is coming up. The thing that I've been talking to everybody about lately is the feeling, the experience of polarization. So we're seeing that in our world very much, where you see polarization in almost every subject, any topic, any place, every country, every philosophy, every idea. Is polarization in it right now. And it's so evident everywhere you look. You can see it, and it's very obvious in a way. But it's polarization is also happening in ourselves, because there is a heating up that's happening, or a increasing tension that's helping the birthing of this new era that we're moving into. And so that intensification is also happening in us. And we can even have like a split inside ourselves of a polarization of, is this true even? Do I even believe this? What do I believe? Where you're questioning the basic values and philosophies of your life, which is always a good idea. However, it's been hyper reactive. And so we can get bounced around by other people's opinions, group opinion, and even our own. So always in meditation, we come back home to ourself, right? And what do I know? What do I know for sure? What do I know as truth? So when we're in a meditation, we're always kind of going through all the clutter of our opinions, of the trendy things that are happening out there, of getting on the bandwagon in a sense, of other people's streams, and returning back into the stillness of inner growing knowing that is burgeoning and coming forth into our life experience. And so, what is that? And can you listen to that more subtle sound behind the noise of even our own thinking, obviously the noise of the world, but of our own thinking too, because we're reacting also. And so that calm, steady walking is very important right now, to stay in that center. And so in that polarization, it can seem like, if you can imagine a world over here and a world over there, that these two worlds have nothing to do with each other, right? And it's this or that, and I have to choose which side am I on about everything, anything, right? And of course the answer is this and that, right? This and that. And it's this vesica piscis, right, that does this shape. If you've seen the sacred geometry, I don't have the image, but you can kind of see it. It's where the two circles merge, and the piscis is the fish, right? And that's what happens in between the two circles, is this fish kind of shape, vesica piscis, right? And that is the merging of these two what seem like separate worlds. In ourself, we can have two separate worlds, our soul and our personality, right? And they can seem disconnected. They can seem like this one's this way and this guy that way, and they don't have any relationship or have any conversation or any way of interacting, even though the soul is always in meditation deep. And so it's that same two circles, the same two disconnectedness that is happening, that we're trying to merge in that same way, Vesica Piscis, where there's the merging of the soul with the self. So the soul and the self become one. And that's consciousness. That is what consciousness is. The soul and the self are one. Om, right? And right there's the meditation, right? That idea, that concept. So where are we divided in ourselves? Where have we rended or caused separation or feel different from or not connected to ourselves or each other or what's happening in the world? This kind of dog eat dog sort of feeling that's out there right now, or this feeling of impending doom that a lot of people are talking about, this feeling of that is really just a disconnect, right? And so when we're in hell in a way, we're disconnected from heaven in a sense, right? We're not united in those two places. They're acting independently. And we bring it together, being of the world but not in the world but not of the world, right? In the world but not of the world. In the world but not of the world, and they're interconnected. And so as you're scanning and you're thinking, what's ready to move forward in my life? And what am I ready to bring forth into my life? Also ask, what is needing to harmonize, right? What is, so that when you aim your rocket, so that when you shoot that arrow, that your aim is true, because there's not that distraction or noise of the mind or the confusion that can happen. Like if you had to shoot an arrow from a moving horse, right? It's different than if you're standing still, right? You have to really keep your balance internally the whole time. So in a way, that's how I feel we are moving. I forget the name of it in the Olympics, but I remember Jody and I were talking about it one day, about her favorite Olympic event was the one where you ski and then you shoot. You know, like that takes so much skill, right? You're going as fast as you can and you have to stop, aim, shoot, right? That whole thing of, and it feels like that to me in this Aries time as we're getting ready to aim in a way, what we're intending for this next period, for this next month. Can you do it on a horse? Can you do it on skis? Can you do it while you're running? Can you do it while you're meditating? Can you do it? And that balance, right? It requires such incredible balance inside to keep your posture, to keep your position, no matter if the terrain is moving around you. How do you still keep your aim true? And the way you keep your aim true is this way, vertically, right? You never lose track of your North Star. You never lose track of who you are, why you're here as a being, even though you might get confused at times and not know every minute with such certainty, that every time you meditate, you come back to it. You keep coming back to it. You keep coming back to it. You come home, right? Back to yourself. And then your aim is true. So as you're wondering about what might be wanting to be coming forward in this Aries full moon energy, which you're going to get big thrust, even though we're just coming out of the retrograde, there's still big thrust. We don't want to just kind of go forward, right, without planning where you're moving to. So there's intentionality behind it. So I guess I'm asking you to do this, right, to merge that intentionality with your goal. And that's a kind of, regular way of saying that out in the world, right? But it's a mindful goal, and it's a spiritual one, because it's vertical also in the sense that you're connected to your own North Star. You're connected to why you were born and incarnated in this lifetime. Now what's your goal, right? And it doesn't have to be some highfalutin thing. It doesn't have to be that some big idea. It is simply your next step, which might take you to a bigger thing. But it's actually just step, 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 step. But then poof, you go through some new territory or a new world, but it's just the next step. And it can feel like right now that launching energy with Aries full moon. It can feel like you're getting launched, and that's powerful. But you want to have a map. And the map is not one that we normally pull out and look at. It's the map of the constellation of the stars of who we are, right? That consciousness of our true essence. And does that goal or that thing that is coming forth from us, our next step, connected, Vesica Piscis, right, connected to our spirit so that they're together, right? One of the teachings that we talk about a lot is the idea of that the inner and the outer are the same, right? To get that balance between that inner life and the outer life, start to look more and more alike. And the more that it's not, there's more of a schism there is between those two aspects of self, the more kind of unhappiness there is and drama and things that are not the flow of life. But when the inner and the outer are the same, right? So it's this, as above, so below. As above, so below, soul to self. As within, so without. So everything starts reflecting everything, right? And so then everywhere we look, we start to see this theme of our life. And the theme of our life is consistent. It's thematic, right? It has a feeling to it that matches. And when something's not that, it just, that's not that. That's something else. That's somebody else's. Because when you're in flow with your life, it matches, right? And so, as we go into the meditation in a moment, these are some of the things I want you to work with and hold and see which of those things maybe stood out to you the most as we move into the silence and connect to this big energy, which is a way to kind of set your clock, right? To those big wheels turning out in the universe. And we're aligning ourselves up to that clock so we're all at the same time. So and it's a metaphor, right? Not literally about time at all, but just tuning yourself to the frequency of the note, setting your clock to the time that we are right now, and finding that those little adjustments that can be made to make you feel more purely in the essence of you. So when you're ready to, we're going to light a candle if you have one. If you don't have one, just light a candle in your mind. That's beautiful, Corliss. And it's symbolic, right? Because it doesn't really matter if you have a candle or not, but it's nice to have one because it makes that little ritual, right, where you take the moment and you call it out to say, I'm doing this now. It's what part of that intention to keep the balance so that we're in that field of intention even before we start the meditation. And even if you do that just in your mind, it's the same thing. So when you're ready to, make yourself comfortable. I see you, Gustavo. So how are you today, my friends, my conscious friends around the world, and all the conscious beings that are meditating now around the world, lights, lighthouses, all around the planet, you're one of them. And can you honor that in yourself? The work of that, the hope of that, the help of that, to help care for the world and for each other, to find that harmony in the life, the in-breath and the out-breath, balanced. The in-breath and the out-breath are balanced. And you feel yourself more and more harmonizing back into yourself, finding your center. And at first we're moving from the heart chakra and gently breathing from the heart center. And from the heart center, I want you to be open to receive a healing. from the point of love. And let your heart center distribute that energy throughout every cell of your body until the whole self is in rhythm with the heart and the heart's healing. And feel every cell of your body in harmony with every other cell in your body, letting the heart chakra distribute that energy everywhere, the nervous system, the blood, the bones, the muscle, the organs, every cell, everywhere. And from the heart chakra also, balancing the chakras below, feeling this harmony begin to happen up and down the spine. Coming into the calm. Coming into the peace. Bring your awareness now from a line of light from the heart center to the head center. The cave center. And from here, breathe gently now, harmonizing the mind, inhaling and exhaling. And as you inhale and exhale, lightly, gently, softly, inhaling in peace, exhaling peace, inhaling peace in your body, exhaling peace to every body. Inhaling peace into the heart and the emotional body. Exhaling peace to every heart, everywhere, no exception. And inhaling peace into the mind and the mental body. Steady calm. Exhaling peace to every mind, everywhere, every consciousness. And as you take your seat in the head center, established in that peace, the abiding peace that is always there, just take a few breaths and resting in this peace. Let yourself receive it like a gift from the soul of the worries of the day, of the things on your mind, about all the things that are happening everywhere. And stand back into that calm, into that stillness. And you can almost feel the gentleness there. And you can feel as that sweetness, that sweet calm, let's call it, feels like the right phrasing tonight. it shears away effortlessly things that are ready to fall away, that are in the way maybe of the blossoming of your true self more and more, tied to the intention of this lifetime. And I'm just going to pause here for a moment with that concept, the intention of this lifetime. And as you sense something about that, might be very symbolic, but it can also be quite literal, or a feeling, or a color. You can sense from there what is that next step that comes from there, not from the ego's plan, but from the soul's design. Sensing it. What is that? And when I was talking about the two worlds, the two seemingly opposite circles that seem like you're supposed to choose one or the other, when really it's all one. Feel where maybe you have created division about something in your own life that might be getting in the way of your freedom, of your genius, of your creation, of your essence. Often this is a self-belief, negative thought about the self, unworthiness, helplessness, etc. See if you can identify it. What has created division? What has created separation between the soul and the self? And imagine in this meditation tonight that you're healing that specifically, that that's what's up for healing. That division, that divided self, and you become your whole self. Right here, right now. And you sense the soul that is in meditation deep. Only love, only love, only love, only love, love only, love only, love only, no division, no separation. So of course, if we can't do that in ourself, it's echoed around us. So the work begins with us. Undivided self. Therefore, undivided world. In time, right? The one, a one life. But it begins with me, my undivided self, my undivided attention, my undivided consciousness, my undivided love. No separation. no separation. And separation comes from fear in every shape and form that fear comes in. And so we are returning to love. 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 Undivided. Love. And as you stand in that love vibration, feel your body vibrating newly with this conditioned energy that is pure love. And allow your body to vibrate with that pureness, that purity, until it's one and the same. Until it's one and the same. Then, when we move towards our next step, or we shoot that arrow forward, it moves swiftly and it moves truly. And effortlessly to that next step that is in alignment with the soul. Breathing love in, breathing love out. Breathing love in from the universe. Breathing love out to everyone. Breathing love in from all that is. Breathing love out to all beings. And meanwhile, resting in that vibrating love, receiving the healing of connected self, union, soul with self in union. And when the soul and the self are unified, then when we take that step, it matches. And the inner and the outer are the same. And you can trust it. And just let yourself linger here for a few more moments with any last impressions that you may gather, sense, still in that completely peaceful presence that's not striving or yearning or reaching, but just being and receiving. Being and receiving. Being and receiving. That abiding peace that is always there. Om. Letting back to the breath. Let your breath begin to deepen. Sensing all the consciousness on this planet, all the awareness that is growing everywhere. Whether you see it or not, it's there. All the growing light that you are part of. Breathing in light, breathing out light. You get into that state of pure illumination. Illumination. It lights your way. Your own illumination, your own soul self interconnectedness lights the way for you and others. And just send that light out to the planet. All blessings to all beings. From this complete calm, it's gentle, no force. No force. Like an offering, like incense, like the smell of a rose, like a soft wind, offering peace to the world and peace to yourself. And as you let your breath get deeper, feel your feet and your body present in the room where you are, or the space that you are. Feeling aligned and steady and awake and peaceful, all at the same time. And just see yourself moving into that next step, easily, naturally, gracefully, in harmony. Until it starts to feel natural now to begin to transition out of this meditation when you're ready to. There's so much going on. Bring this with you, out there, wherever you go. Experience that living stillness in the middle of a conversation. Be the light. So good. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight on this big full moon in Aries. Here we go. Yeah. And the next full moon is November 19th. And the next new moon, I think, is the 4th or the 3rd or the 4th. So we'll see you in one of those maybe. And I hope you can keep working with this energy. And it's always good, like when you do a deeper meditation in a group like this, it's stronger sometimes than if you're doing it on your own, like a lot, right? And I recommend like writing little notes to yourself, or just take a minute before you go back to whatever the next thing is, and just either just sit with it for a moment, and see what you saw, or hear what you heard, or remember what you remembered. and know what you know. And even write it down or mark it somehow, so that it becomes activated in the life in a conscious way. And it's nice to just linger, you know. So we'll leave the music moving, running. So if you want to just stay here, you can. Or if you don't, you just going off on your own. Maybe just take a moment though, and work with this just a little bit. And we'll see you next time. Thank you everyone for coming. We'll see you the next cycle.